All right, so today we're going to crack the code on like customer psychology.
Right.
We're diving deep into what makes people buy stuff.
Right.
And the source material we have for this deep dive is all about building amazing marketing campaigns.
Okay.
But honestly, it's relevant to like anyone who's ever bought anything ever and wonder like, why did I buy that?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question that I've thought about a lot myself.
Huh.
And I think one of the things that this source points to is that it all starts with like branding.
Okay.
It's more than just a logo.
Mm-hmm.
It's the entire visual language that a company uses to communicate with us as potential customers. So like,
Right.
think about colors, the fonts, even the style of photography that they use in their advertising.
Right.
It all adds up to create a feeling and identity.
Okay, so like setting the stage before they even tell us what they're selling.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like creating a vibe. And our source uses this really interesting example of a luxury furniture company. And they knew that their unique selling proposition, their USP, was like high quality, handcrafted pieces with unique designs.
Mm-hmm.
So their entire branding strategy, from their website to their advertising, it really screamed understated elegance.
Got it.
And they were targeting a very specific customer, and it worked.
So they like figured out who they were talking to and built an experience around that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which makes sense, but I feel like it goes deeper than branding, right?
Absolutely.
Like the source breaks down like 17 factors
Oh, wow.
that influence customer decisions, and some of them are pretty surprising.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, so let's unpack those a little.
Okay.
Some are kind of straightforward, like the classic problem-solution dynamic.
Right.
Like you buy something to solve a problem.
Yeah, makes sense.
But, understanding what specific problem your product solves for your target customer is key.
Right.
Like I might buy a fancy coffee maker because I want better taste in coffee, but someone else might buy the same coffee maker to impress their friends.
Right.
So same product, different motivations.
Exactly. Yeah, different needs, different desires. And in today's world, I think ease of use is a really big one.
Totally.
Think about it. You're much more likely to buy an app that's like intuitive and user-friendly, even if it has fewer features than one that's like clunky and complicated.
100%. We're also busy and no one wants to spend hours figuring out how to use a product.
Right.
But this next one is interesting, social proof.
Okay.
Isn't that kind of like peer pressure for shoppers?
Yeah, I think in a way it is. Yeah, we're much more likely to trust a product with hundreds of positive reviews than one with only a handful, right?
Right.
We rely on the experiences of other people to make decisions, and that makes sense. It's a shortcut to knowing whether something is worth our time and our money.
So it's like a safety net. It's like, okay, if all these people love it, I'll probably love it too.
Right.
I definitely do that when I buy stuff online. And then there's the logic factor.
Okay.
But doesn't everyone make decisions based on logic?
Not necessarily,
Sure.
but people do want to feel like their purchases are justified.
Okay.
So this is where transparent pricing comes in. Customers want to understand what they're getting for their money, and they're much more likely to buy something if the pricing is really clear and makes sense.
Okay, so no hidden fees, no surprise charges.
Exactly, yeah.
And this ties into like transparency as well, right?
Wow, absolutely.
Like showing the production process of a product or being upfront about the ingredients in your product.
Yeah, consumers want to know what's going on behind the scenes. And it's not just about the product itself. It's about the company's values, their ethical practices, their impact on the world. And this transparency builds trust, and it allows customers to align themselves with brands that share their values.
So it's like, I see what you stand for and I like it.
Exactly.
But in a world of endless choices, like uniqueness is key, right?
Right.
You have to stand out from the crowd.
You do. And that's where understanding your target audience becomes super important.
Okay.
What are their specific needs and desires? What problem can you solve that no one else is addressing?
Okay.
And the more specific and targeted you can be, the more effective your marketing will be.
So it's like finding your niche and owning it.
Exactly.
But it's not enough to just have a unique product. You have to make sure people understand what they're getting.
Right.
And the source calls this clarity and understanding.
Right, because confusion is the enemy of conversion.
Okay.
Customers need to understand the features and benefits of your product clearly and concisely. This is where good copywriting and effective visuals come in.
Okay, so no jargon, no confusing language, just straight to the point.
Exactly.
And while we're talking about making things easy,
Okay.
customer service has to be a big factor, right?
Absolutely. A negative customer service experience can turn someone off of a brand completely,
Right.
no matter how good the product is. But on the flip side, amazing customer service can create loyal customers who will rave about your company to everyone.
It's all about building those relationships and making people feel valued.
Yeah.
And sometimes going the extra mile can make a huge difference. And the source talks about this as added value. So like if you're choosing between two similar products,
Yeah.
but one comes with a free gift or a bonus feature, you're probably going to go for the one with the extra value.
Right. It's like sweetening the deal.
Yeah.
You make people feel like they're getting more bang for their buck.
Like that little something extra that makes you feel special, like
Right.
you're getting a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of feeling good about a purchase,
Okay.
let's talk about security and guarantees.
Okay.
Like, aren't those essential, especially when you're buying stuff online?
Absolutely. In a world where there's so much uncertainty, people want to feel secure in their purchases.
Right.
A strong guarantee reduces risk and builds trust. It tells the customer, we stand behind this product. We're confident you're going to love it.
Yeah.
It's a really powerful way to remove any hesitation or doubt.
So it's like a safety net.
Yeah.
It makes people feel more confident about taking the plunge.
Mhm.
But here's one that seems a little counterintuitive.
Okay.
Quality over price.
Yeah.
Don't we all want the cheapest option?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, while everyone loves a good deal,
Yeah.
the reality is that quality often comes at a price.
Yeah.
And customers are becoming more and more aware of this, and they're willing to pay more for products that are well-made,
Right.
durable, and ethically produced.
Yeah. It's like you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's worth investing a bit more up front for something that will last longer and perform better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to justify that, investment customers often look for experience and expertise.
Okay.
They want to know that they're dealing with professionals who know what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to specialized products or services.
Okay, so it's not just about the product, it's about the knowledge and skills behind it.
Right.
It's about trusting the experts.
Exactly.
And sometimes we just want what's familiar, what feels safe and comfortable.
Right.
And the source calls this familiarity and comfort.
Yeah.
And we tend to gravitate towards brands and products that we already know and trust,
We do.
even if there might be newer or more innovative options out there.
Right. It's like better the devil. You know?
Right. But on the flip side, sometimes we crave novelty and new experiences.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
There's something exciting about trying something new and different,
there is.
whether it's a new product or service or even just a new way of doing things.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something to be said for that thrill of discovery.
Yeah, the excitement of the unknown.
Right.
But we've got a few more of these customer influencing factors to explore.
Okay.
So let's get back into it after a quick break.
Okay, so we're back and still talking about all this customer psychology stuff.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. It is. And before the break, we were talking about how powerful like novelty and new experiences can be.
Yeah.
Like the whole allure of the unknown, you know?
Yeah.
I get that, but doesn't that kind of contradict the familiarity and comfort thing we were just talking about?
Yeah, it's an interesting balance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do those two ideas like work together?
Well, I think of it like a spectrum.
Yeah.
On one end, we have the comfort of the familiar, those brands and products that feel like a safe bet.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other end, there's that desire for something fresh,
Yeah.
something that breaks the routine
Okay.
and offers like a new experience.
So are you saying companies need to figure out like where their target audience falls on that spectrum?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then tailor their offerings accordingly.
Got it.
Like think about a restaurant chain.
Okay.
They might offer like classic familiar dishes
Hmm.
that appeal to those seeking comfort,
Right.
but they might also introduce like seasonal specials or limited time offers
Right.
to cater to those craving something new.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like appealing to different moods or desires. Sometimes you want like the tried and true, and sometimes you want something adventurous.
Right. And this ties back to the concept of understanding your target audience.
Mm-hmm.
The more you know about their preferences, their lifestyle, their motivations,
Right.
the better you can tailor your offerings to meet their needs.
So it's all about putting yourself in the customer's shoes,
Yeah.
understanding what makes them tick.
Exactly. And recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
Different customers are drawn to different things.
Mm.
What might appeal to one segment
Right.
might completely turn off another.
And this brings us back to the importance of branding.
Oh, absolutely.
Like if a company's branding is clear and consistent,
Mm-hmm.
it helps customers kind of self-select, right?
It does.
Like if I see a store that's all minimalist and sleek, I know it's probably not going to have the funky bohemian clothes I'm looking for.
Right, exactly. Branding serves as a signaling mechanism. It helps customers quickly identify whether a brand aligns with their taste and their values.
So branding is like a shortcut
Yeah,
to understanding what a company is all about.
it is.
It helps customers decide if they want to dig deeper.
Exactly. And if that initial impression is positive
Mm-hmm.
and the branding resonates with them,
Yeah.
then those other factors we've been talking about,
Yeah.
like the uniqueness of the product, the
Right.
clarity and understanding of the messaging,
Mhm.
the social proof from other customers, those all come into play.
And let's not forget the power of customer service.
Oh, yeah.
I know I've definitely become like a loyal customer of some brands just because their customer service is so good.
Absolutely. Customer service can make or break a brand.
Yeah.
So those human interactions, those moments where a company goes above and beyond to help a customer,
Right.
that create those lasting impressions and foster loyalty.
It's about making people feel valued.
Yeah.
Like they're more than just a transaction. And this ties into the added value concept we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely.
It's about those little extras that show customers you appreciate their business.
Right. Like if you have a choice between two similar products,
Yeah.
but one company offers like free shipping or a longer warranty,
Right.
you're probably going to choose the one that offers those added benefits.
It's like tipping the scales in your favor,
Exactly.
making your product or service just a little bit more appealing.
Right. And then, of course, there are those elements that create a sense of urgency or exclusivity,
Okay.
like scarcity and urgency.
Ah, yes. The classic limited time offer
Right.
or only a few left in stock tactics.
Exactly.
I have to admit, I've fallen for those more times than I care to admit.
We all have, it's a powerful psychological trigger
Hmm.
that plays on our fear of missing out.
Right.
It creates that sense of urgency that can push us to make a purchase,
Yeah.
even if we weren't initially planning to.
It's like that little voice in your head saying, buy it now or you'll regret it later.
Exactly. And it's especially effective when you combine it with some of the other factors we've talked about,
Hmm.
like social proof.
Right.
If you see that a product is selling out quickly and everyone else seems to be buying it,
Yeah.
it creates that sense of validation and urgency.
So it's like a perfect storm of persuasion.
It can be.
But before we get too carried away with all the power of these marketing tactics,
Okay.
let's bring it back to the customer.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Like at the end of the day, it's all about understanding what motivates them,
It is.
what their needs are, what their desires are,
Right.
and how we can create products and experiences that genuinely add value to their lives.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's not about like manipulating people
No, yeah.
or tricking them into buying things they don't need.
Right.
It's about creating those authentic connections
Yeah,
and building trust.
it is.
And that leads us to a really important factor that we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
Speed and efficiency.
Right.
Like in today's world, time is so precious.
It is. Customers expect things to happen quickly and seamlessly.
Yeah.
Whether it's browsing a website, making a purchase,
Right.
or getting customer support, they want a smooth and efficient experience.
So no clunky websites, no slow loading times,
Right.
no complicated checkout processes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Companies that prioritize speed and efficiency are more likely to win over customers and keep them coming back for more.
It's like removing friction from the customer journey.
It is.
The easier and faster you can make things, the better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this ties back to the ease of use factor we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
It's all about creating that positive and seamless experience for the customer.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We talked about branding, target audiences, customer service, the psychology of scarcity,
Right.
the importance of speed and efficiency,
Yeah.
so much more.
Yeah. It's a lot to take in.
But how do all these pieces fit together in the real world?
That's a great question. And in the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore some real-world examples
Okay.
of companies that have successfully implemented these principles
Right.
and created some really remarkable customer experiences.
All right, so welcome back to the show.
Okay.
We're in the final part of our deep dive now, and
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
we've been talking about all this customer psychology and what drives people to make purchases.
Yeah, from the emotional impact of branding to like
Yeah.
the logic of pricing.
Right, exactly. But how does all this theory actually play out,
Mhm.
in the real world? I mean,
Yeah.
I'd love to see how some companies are actually using all these ideas.
Yeah, let's look at some examples.
Okay.
Think about Apple.
Okay.
They've really built their entire brand around quality and uniqueness.
Right.
Their products are beautifully designed, super innovative,
Mm-hmm.
and they definitely come with a premium price tag.
Yeah.
but people are willing to pay for that because they see the value.
They do, and they've really nailed that ease of use thing too.
They have.
Like their products are known for being so intuitive and user-friendly. Even someone who's not that tech savvy can pick up an iPhone and figure it out.
Yeah, pretty easily.
Yeah.
Apple has created this ecosystem that's both like aesthetically pleasing
Mm-hmm.
and really functional.
Yeah. And we can't forget about the social proof aspect.
Right.
Like Apple has this incredibly loyal following.
They do. It's almost cult-like.
Right. Like people want to be seen with their Apple products.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a sense of status
Oh, for sure.
that comes with owning them.
Yeah,
It's like being part of an exclusive club.
it is.
Another company that I think has mastered all this is Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
They've become like the king of convenience.
Absolutely. They've really built their success on speed and efficiency, customer service, and added value.
Right.
I mean, they deliver products so fast.
Yeah.
The return process is super easy.
Right.
And their customer support is usually amazing.
Yeah. And they've really leveraged that added value thing with their Prime membership.
Right.
Free shipping, streaming services, special deals. It's like this whole ecosystem that just keeps people coming back.
It is. They've made it so hard to resist.
And Owen, speaking of added value,
Yeah.
subscription boxes are a great example of how to tap into like novelty and new experiences.
They are.
It's like that curated selection of products
Yeah.
delivered to your door every month.
Right. It feels like a little treat.
It does, and they often play on the scarcity and urgency factor too,
Oh, yeah.
with limited edition boxes or special promotions.
Right. Only available for a short time.
Oh, exactly.
It's a really smart strategy
Yeah,
that creates a sense of excitement and exclusivity.
totally.
And I think it just goes to show how versatile these 17 factors are, across different industries.
Yeah.
You can really adapt them to almost any business model.
So what does all this mean for the people listening?
Well, whether you're running a business or just trying to make better decisions as a consumer,
Right.
understanding these principles is so valuable.
Yeah.
It's like you can decode marketing messages, see through all the smoke and mirrors.
You become a more aware shopper.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you're aware of the things that are influencing your choices.
you are. And as a business owner, you can use these ideas strategically
Yeah.
to create campaigns that really resonate with your audience.
Exactly. It's about creating those genuine connections, building trust,
Right.
and ultimately, giving your customers something valuable.
That's the key takeaway here.
Yeah.
It's not about manipulation. It's about understanding what makes people pick
Right.
and creating things that actually enrich their lives.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's a great place to wrap things up.
It is.
We've only scratched the surface here, but hopefully this deep dive has given you some food for thought.
Yeah, some things to think about.
We encourage you to keep exploring these ideas, Think about the brands you love, the products you can't live without.
Yeah.
Which of these 17 factors are at play?
Right.
And how can you apply this knowledge to your own life? Exactly.
As a consumer or as a business owner.
Keep learning, keep questioning,
Yeah.
and keep that critical thinking going.
Right. Because the world of consumer psychology, it's always evolving.
It is. But with a little insight, you can navigate it
Yeah.
and make choices that really align with your values and your goals.
Awesome. Well, until next time,
Okay.
thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.